When I first got involved with ATO, he was already involved at the national level, and he was one of the first people I met and was impressed immediately with qualities that every one of his chapter mates back in the 70s when he was an undergraduate at Florida understood, and throughout his ATO career, continuing to serve at the local level and at the national level, both on the Foundation Board of Governors and a couple of stints on the National Fraternity Board of, Board of Directors. Howe, there are many words to be able to describe Howe, and I think probably the one that I hear most often is wise. Howe is a very wise leader, a successful businessman, and the epitome of ATO brotherhood. Please help me congratulate and welcome our new national president, Howe Wallace.
I got my notes too, so. When you're graced with an honor like this, afforded an opportunity like this, charged with a responsibility like this, it really causes you to take the time to reflect. I don't know, you may have heard the old joke about whenever you see a turtle on a fence post, you can be sure someone put them there. Feeling a little bit like that tonight. You know, I got a lot of friends. I mean, if you think back on the experience that I've had, I have a great partner, my wife, Jenny, who was dating me before ATO was a thing to me. And she stuck with it, endured it, supported it, was with me all the way through, and I think she's a huge factor in what's happened with me and ATO and the opportunity I have here tonight. I think she would tell you that she thinks my experience at ATO made me a better husband, made me a better father, made me a better man. So I'm excited to do this with you. My family's here with me tonight. My kids, their spouses, they're here. You know, they saw me time after time pack my bag and take off for ATO. Never questioned it, not one bit. What are you doing, Dad? Why don't you stay home? And I mean, it's not like I was going every week, but it was time. And I knew they trusted it. If I believed it was important, they did too. So thank you for your support too. My brothers are here from Alpha Omega. Yesterday, Friday, we had a good turnout with them too, and it was pretty cool to have them here. And I followed a lot of their footsteps here, especially Jim Black, who served forever. He was the first high counselor as an undergraduate back in 1970, I guess it was. And not to age you, Jim, but and Bruce Donahue, who spoke so well about Colonel Berry, who I'm going to have a comment about in a minute. Matt Matson told us the other day at the Rush deal that every one of us had a guy, right? Remember he talked about that? And in ATO, I had three. There were two guys who lived across the dorm from me. I was one of those who went to college not thinking Greek was going to be a thing for me. It was in the 1973, and the Greeks were not very popular, and I didn't really grow up with being pushed that way. And my first term at school was one that was miserable. And my best friends that I made in the dorm were two guys who were ATO pledges, Steve Johnson and Clay Townsend. And they took me to the chapter house in the winter, and I gladly went, man, because I was miserable and I wanted a family. I wanted friends. I wanted to meet them. And they took me, and when I got there, Bruce Donahue took control of my candidacy because I was kind of a geeky guy that wasn't going to be easy to get me a bid. And I know that you took care of me, Bruce, so I'm grateful forever for that. And grateful for that. So I had 3 guys. I want to tell you one of them, I'm going to ask a personal point of privilege. One of those guys, Steve Johnson, had a stroke last week and is in a bed in a hospital not far from here with his family not offering much hope for what's going to happen to him. So I'll just honor him for just a few seconds. With the silence, please. Thank you very much. I was counting up, and if I'm correct, I'm the 14th worthy Grand Chief since I started going to Congresses. And when I think about it, I received an assignment to serve 13 out of those people, 12 of the 13 people over time. And I've done things like help create leadership and work on membership committees and be a province chief and be on the board and serve the board of governors and work on my BOT. So I've had a lot of opportunity. And to say that is to say this, my son came tonight, never been to one of these events. We were in the alumni cocktail party. He said, you know many of these guys? And I looked around the room and I said, yes, I do. They're from everywhere. They've been friends for a long time. I could name you all, but you know who you are. It's been a very, very special experience to have grown up and become a man as an ATO. And it's been a highlight of my life. You're going to hear from me. Wynn told me I could only talk for a few more minutes, and I am going to I'll hold to that. But you'll hear more about how ATO shaped my life, but I can only tell you in summary right now, it would not have been the same. Would not have been as fruitful. Would not be as significant as if it wasn't for my fraternity experience. I was going to come tell you about Bill Berry. So Wynn starts off Wednesday night and talks about Bill Berry. Bruce did a great job yesterday talking about Bill Berry. Ole Miss guys, get up here today. We're going to give a tribute to Bill Berry. Thank you for hanging out. I was in Knoxville when we elected him worthy Grand Chief. Our fraternity was in the dump, and he saved us. He gave me my first national assignment. I was there at Founders Day. I was elected president. I went to my first Congress in my second Congress in Indianapolis as our delegate from the University of Florida. And he put me on a committee, and I got to meet my first mentor at Alpha Tau Omega, Bert Sams, who's here. Where's Bert? Where are you? He's back here in the back with the University of Tennessee. He showed me what it was to be an adult volunteer, and it whet my appetite for it, and I followed up with it from then on out. Thank you, Bert. My adult relationship with Colonel Berry was that I would see him as I continued to volunteer, and he was always glad to see me. He remembered my wife's name. He got to know my kid's name. And the thing that was cool about him is he would write you a letter. This was before email. This was before note cards. If he saw me at Congress and he wanted to say something to me, he would write me a letter at Thanksgiving or Christmas or follow through with me just to say. And what he was doing, guys, is he was saying to me, hey, Howe, I am so proud of you, son. Way to go. Thank you for still contributing. And he would share some things about him, and he'd share some things, ask some things about me, and tell me how much he looked forward to seeing me again. And then he would end it with this statement. He would end it with living the creed. And we've heard about the creed this week. It's referenced tonight, earlier Tim did. And living the creed. And implied was that is certainly he was living the creed, but also there was a question there in it. He was saying, I'm living the creed, are you? And it really stuck with me, man. And I think about those principles that he was binding people together. He believed in that. That meant he was a force for connection everywhere he went. He believed in eternal and immutable principles. His values would endure the test of the world and would lead to true and good results every single time. He was a proud recognizer of true merit. In fact, he said, this job, any job in the fraternity, let the job seek the man, don't let the man seek the job. So he didn't believe in politics. He didn't believe in partisanship. He believed that the meritorious man would stand up for the responsibility when they were asked to serve. No limits. He believed in the possibility. He would encourage great things. He would encourage ambition. He would encourage each of us to be the best that we could possibly be. Elevating every environment that he entered into. He walked in expecting to make a difference, and he always did. Never failed. Living the creed. It's incredible that we're sitting here for a guy who got initiated in 1949. We're here in 1918, and we're still talking about it.
2018.
2018, excuse me. It gets back. 70 years later, guys, we are still talking about Colonel Bill Berry because he lived the creed. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've tried to. And I hope that it will be said of me that I did pretty well by it. Don't know, just like he said in his tax speech, don't know if I did as good as Colonel Berry did, but I have tried hard to live the creed. And so the commitment I want to make to you tonight is, as your worthy Grand Chief and President of this fraternity, I'm going to continue to live the creed just as effectively as I can and as hard as I can and with all the energy I can, because I believe this fraternity changes lives. But I want to ask you, will you join me in that? Can you leave here saying, hey, that guy challenged me. Am I living the creed? Can I make that my habit? Because you'll make a difference. You'll make a difference in the communities you live in the future, in the employment that you take on, in the family that you have. Not just a chapter next week, but forever. Living the creed is what ATO is all about. And if you'll join me in the effort, I think that we'll be very proud of what we accomplish in the time that I have the privilege and the honor of being in this chair. So thank you very much for listening to me so late after such a long week and so much learning. My best wishes to you, and I'll say love and respect, but I'll say more than that. Live the creed. Thank you.